Well, as the move to curb oil theft continues across Nigeria, a 1,500 metric ton vessel known as Dama has been set ablaze by operatives of the Operation Delta Safe Joint Task Force in Delta State. Security operatives say burning the ship is a strong message to oil thieves. Well, the vessel is allegedly said to be owned by Maxwell Limited, a Nigerian engineering company. Arise Energy and Business correspondent Onyi Sunday reports.
The sound of gunshots reverberate the air here on Warri River. It's all an attempt to end the voyage of Diema, a 1,500-ton vessel which has robbed Nigeria of its resources for years, stealing its crude and selling it to Ghana. On the 6th of October, the beginning of the end started for this vessel. It was apprehended after an ambush was laid by the JTF and Tantita Security Services, loading crude oil illegally from a hose connected to a pipe flowing from Abiteye to Escravos, which is being operated by Chevron. The vessel has operated under so many names over the years. Deborah, Ebiene, Lizzie, we know it today as Diema, and its journey has come to an end. Before the fire, we finally put a face to some of the culprits behind Nigeria's massive oil theft. Standing on the vessel used for operation for years, this crew sailed from Lagos to Warri. At Sangara, 2 kilometers away from the Escravos tank farm, an ambush was laid by the JTF and Tantita Security Services. Diema had been on the radar of Maritime Security Services for a while now.
The crew were quite smart, there's no doubt about it. They were very smart, but they were not smarter than country. That's the aspect, not smarter than the NNPC. So what had happened was that it's among the list of vessels being monitored constantly, and it's been evading authorities for quite a while now. And its route is very funny. It's been frequenting the Niger Delta and at the same time carrying crude illegally to Ghana, precisely Tema.
The oil loaded on the 6th of October would be their last operation. The vessel came in from Escravos and had no idea security were waiting where they loaded. The 87-meter-long vessel with 12 compartments was not designed as an ocean vessel. It's a river vessel which has been modified to suit the purpose it serves: oil theft on the ocean.
In the past, we have seen the ship, but we didn't have the platform to be able to legally apprehend the vessel. As you know, everything is about jurisdiction and empowerment to do so. We didn't, but we never stopped because it's our country. We love our country, so we'll continue to watch it, no doubt about it. You know, and it's our region too. I mean, you saw the devastation caused by this type of business. So we have never stopped looking at all of these things. We have more under our watch list, no doubt about it, but what we are using this medium to plead is that they should just stop.
Stealing from a major trunk line that supplies the Chevron terminal, 5 compartments out of 12 on this vessel have crude. 650 cubic meters of crude separated into several compartments was found on board. They couldn't finish loading owing to the arrival of security operatives. The captain of the vessel says the vessel was hijacked and claims he joined the ship 2.5 months ago. But records show the ship was detained in Nigeria in September 2021 for an automatic identification systems infraction. Those who arrested it didn't probe further and didn't suspect what it was used for. However, documents show that he was the captain of the ship. His story doesn't add up.
I was not hold here. I was in...
talk to her,
Continue. Sir. I was in...
Their accomplices are on the run. A manhunt has been launched for their arrest.
This exposure has further iterated and affirmed the fact that sometimes you need a non-state user or non-state partners in this oil and gas sector in Nigeria, because sometimes there could be compromise from government and top government functionaries, you know, but there are some security specialists that cannot be compromised, and they know the topography of the region. They are also well abreast. They have this skill and expertise when it comes to security. So when you give these people this job, just as the NNPC Limited just did, it will go a long way to curb this issue.
Do you think this is something that can be put to a stop in the shortest time possible, or do you think it is so entrenched?
It's a matter of political will and commitment. If you have the political will, there is nothing that cannot be done. Yes, even if it cannot be totally eliminated, it can be minimized to a manageable dimension.
DIEMA's journey has finally come to an end, as the vessel, which operated on water for years, is stopped by fire. The military is sending a message with this action.
The best way you could solve a country's problem is to show a strong message that this is not the path to go or follow. So this is one of the messages, though it's got its carrot and stick approach to it. But if you decide to take the kid's glove approach, this vessel, you could end up tomorrow with an injunction not to go near it. 1 year down the road, the same oil you are protecting will come into the environment, pollute the environment, or it can get stolen again.
What we saw today is a product of that collaboration that we anticipated under the security architecture. As you are aware, the aim of that architecture is to be in a position to detect, deter, respond, and subsequently recover the barrels. Obviously, technology has a lot to play. I'm glad that you, along other journalists, has visited the Command and Control Center. That was a center established by NNPC that will enable us to see everything that is happening on top of our waters. Talk about the deep water, the blue waters, talk about the brown waters and the backwaters. We have capability under the command and control room to detect whatever illicit activity that is happening.
DIEMA was one of many vessels on the watch list of maritime security operatives. The move is on to apprehend many more. Another illegal connection has been discovered on a 48-inch export line on Forcados Terminal operated by Shell Petroleum Development Company. It was traced by Tanteta to an abandoned Aji platform where stealing for export possibly takes place. The government is sending a message. DIEMA, Ebieme, Lizzie or Deborah will never ply Nigerian waters again. It's a very strong message the government is sending today to other oil thieves. The country, the government, is coming for them. The loss recorded over the years must stop. Onyi Sunday, Arise News.
Well, Onyi Sunday joins us now. Well, she's not at the creeks, almost said. Live here in the studio. Onyi, good to have you on News Night tonight.
Well, thank you very much.
Look, for me, just watching that and the flames going up, it's really scary. I'm thinking about the environmental impact. I mean, are there no other options of destroying, these vessels with the oil in them? What exactly is going on with that, as far as that's concerned?
That also got me, worried a bit. My question is, why burn it in the first place?
Right.
It's a vessel that's still, still operational. It's functioning well. Why can't we seize the vessel and use it for, other things? And clearly, that vessel also belongs to a Nigerian engineering and procurement company, which is something also very disturbing. When I asked that question, apparently, I guess maybe from experience, I was told that if they do not take that action, a court injunction might appear from nowhere, asking them to lay off that particular vessel, or the oil in it is actually stolen, and filled with water, and then it's a different case entirely. So for them, they feel that's the best way to go. And like he said, yes, it's a carrot and stick approach. It's neither here nor there, but just want to send a strong message to oil thieves to say, this is what will happen to your vessel. You will lose the oil, and you will lose, your tool of trade as well.
Okay, so this is something we've been focusing on for a bit now. What was something else that was disturbing for you on this particular trip? And I ask because, in recent days with these exposures we've been seeing, Nigerians have been asking, is there a political pressure from somewhere? I mean, the elections are forthcoming. Why are we making these discoveries now? What's going on? What's, causing all of this?
Okay, so clearly we've had the president speak a lot about the issue of oil theft. Oil theft. We've had captains of industries raise alarm over time about oil theft. We've seen NNPC, in certain months with zero foreign exchange, coming from oil, we are producing less than half of our OPEC quota. So it's about time, that something would happen. Whether it's happening now or in the future, something just had to happen. And speaking to that consultant on the boat, he did say, which is, I can understand people asking that question. He said they have observed so many of them, so many vessels stealing oil, but they never had the platform to apprehend them. They didn't have that legal backing to go after them. There was no way they were going to, stop most of these ships. But with the government bringing them into the picture, they understand the terrain together. Like this ship was actually apprehended in the creeks. So they understand how they work. As a manhunt, for those who helped to bring the hose that they were using, they're still looking for those people as well. So, bringing them in and saying, okay, look, we understand. Your agitations aside, we want to bring you into the picture. You know who these guys are. Whether you've worked with them in the past or not, we want you to apprehend them. So that's what we're seeing now. They're just going after the guys they already know have been, Is
that why it's looking like it's piece of cake?
Exactly.
Arresting or apprehending the people behind
this. Because there's another one already.
The fact remains that, look, experts or analysts would say, look, it's a political elite, economic elite that are behind, this stolen or stealing our crude oil. The 48 billion naira a year contract that's been given to this Tantita company, are we seeing that this is really paying off? Is that what we're seeing?
Well, that's clearly what I guess, both Tantita or the government is really trying to show, that the results, are already, showing from the money that has been paid. Because for every discovery, it's being made by Tantita and the JTF. And just like I said earlier, they are very familiar with what's going on. I was listening to an interview with the owner of Tantita, the founder, that's Tom Polo, and he did say that they have a list of those, who are behind it. So they do. They're just sending a warning to say, it's time for you to stop because we will come after you and we will seize your vessel and, of course, hand you over to the government, right? So it's a case of saying,
the
what's going on.
Will the big guns, will they be arrested? Will they be apprehended? The big ones that are behind this...
Honestly, my fingers are also crossed on that. It's not the first time we've heard that the government has names of certain people who are perpetrating all sorts in the country. Will they have the political will to name and shame? We're going to have to wait to see that play out.
Time will tell. Fingers crossed, hoping they don't go norm. Onyi Sunday, energy and business correspondent for Arise News. Thank you so much.